Hi, this is B from Sorcery Soap, and yes, I'm making lots of noise. And so a little bird told me, Jennifer Rogers from the wonderful group that we have, Soap Creations or Sorcery Soap Creations, that Sophia Rogers watches this channel, and I'm very honored on both accounts, and I'm not even kidding. So this video is dedicated to you, Sophia Rogers, for watching this channel and for being interested in something unusual. So I asked myself, if I was a young person, what would I want to see in soap dough? And I thought, well, with the upcoming holiday, maybe I should make some ghosts, or as I like to call them, ghosties. So here we go. This is for you, Sophia and Jennifer, and thank you so much for watching. So I've made ghosts a couple different ways, and I'll show you all the ways that I make them. So one way I make them is by standing up. And these are a little pokey, and they're not as comfortable to hold on the soap bar, but they're really cute, I think. So there's a polymer clay artist that makes these in polymer clay, and I try not to copy her, but she just has such a cute way about them. And her name is, I don't know her name, but it's Wishing Well. And oh, she just has, I can't really duplicate what she does in soap dough because of the medium sort of dictates it. The fact that she uses polymer clay and it's a lot stiffer and can be neater handed, and anyway, her work is really great. Maybe someday when I'm not doing soap dough, I'll test things out in polymer clay. I like the texture of it. So anyway, so you just saw me roll this out and I'm sort of smoothing it out. So I'm going to leave this guy for a second. So there's one way. So this is one of the basic shapes I use and I talk about in the magic of soap dough, is cone shape. So this cone shape is the basis for a lot of things I make, and if you look at it, it's also the body of the bunnies that I make, and let's see what else. Oh, the body of the polar bear, the body of a dog. Now it doesn't have a flat bottom to it. I made the bottom flat, but that's really the basis of a lot of the things that I make. So we'll set that aside for a second, and I'll show you another one too. Because see, when this cures hard, completely dries and cures hard, which means it starts to solidify as soap, it becomes hard, right? And see, more lint. Okay. Anyway, it becomes hard, so if you put it on top of the soap and then you grab the soap like this, it could be a little awkward. So, but they're really cute, so I think it's worth it, personally. We can do this and mash it down a bit. See, now my hands are perfectly clean, and somehow lint just jumped out of the air onto my soap. And it does that, and it does it on all of it, except that you really can see it on white, which is crazy. Okay, so we'll do this guy, right? And then bend his head over a little bit, like that, so he looks sort of like a sleepy ghost. And he's a little bit, you know, it's duller on top, so when you grab it, it won't be so. And I suppose if I put some pumpkins on the side of it, it'll taper it off so it won't feel so awkward in your hand. So we'll leave those two, and I'll show you a couple more ways. So there's this magical place in the world called Hobby Lobby, and they have some really cool things over there. And I try really hard not to spend money on things before I test them out. I don't know how to explain that. Like, if, for example, I thought maybe making some soap cookies, so I used the cookie cutters I had first before I purchased any other soap or cookie cutters to see if it'll work. So these I happened to find in the woodworking section, and there's a whole bunch of them. This is the only one I pulled out, but there's like a little pumpkin one, and there's some Christmas ones and whatever, and I think they were like $3, which to me, to buy anything useful in this world for $3 is ridiculous. So, but anyway, so here's the ghost shape one, and I'll show you how I do that guy. And this one goes flat on top, and if I can pull, well, I know I can. I always say if because I didn't know how to do it in the beginning, but I'll put a picture of the soap that I used with these very specific ones so you can see what it looks like finished. So, okay. And white's a really good one to start out with because a white color soap dough, because you can use, and you know, oftentimes for me, I use too much cornstarch, and if you use a darker color, you're gonna see that cornstarch when you start to mash it up, and so I can use this piece over and over again, and I'm not gonna see the cornstarch. So we're gonna do this, because it all takes practice. Even this, even using cookie cutters takes practice. So there, I'll put that guy right in the center, there. And then the other thing I like about using the plastic is it makes them kind of puffy, like that. And my cookie cutters don't get all munged up, or they don't get like soap on them. So I have another one I'm gonna do. So we'll let those dry just a bit while I'm doing this, so I can show you how to put the eyes on, or how I put my ghost eyes on. So my question for today is, do you think ghosts are real? And if you do think they're real, or if you don't, I guess, tell me why. Because I think that's a very interesting question. I love to hear what people think about that. And people have been studying, and there's tons of myths and ancient history about ghosts, and I'll just tell you, well, I don't know. I don't know if I should taint that. I don't know if I should tell you what I think before I hear what your answers are. Okay, so this, sorry, I just started to do it and I didn't even talk about it. These are little petal cutters. They're cookie cutters. Also very reasonable. I found these on, there's a whole, you know the Russian dolls, they put one inside the other? That's how they set these up. So there's a bunch of little ones and then they get bigger, and they're about that big. And I found them on Amazon. Very reasonable too. So there's those. So you have a bunch of choices. And so we have this, and it doesn't quite look like a ghost yet, but we're gonna make it look like a ghost. So you could see it could be that way or it could be this way, but I was thinking maybe this way, like this, so that he's sort of spooky and he could be coming out of something, or we can make his tail a little bit like that. So there's another ghost. So there's 4 types of ghosts we have. So now we're going to put the eyes on. So and if you've watched some of these videos, you know one of the ways I put eyes on is roll little balls of black soap dough and poke them in, which we can do that. But the other way I do it, which is because if you touch black soap dough and then you touch white, or white and black, you get them transferred, and they're a pickle to clean up, I'll tell you that. So I use this little tiny cookie cutter, these little leaf shapes, very similar to this leaf shape. I use these and I put the soap dough underneath, and then I put this on top of that. And I make them ahead of time. So here I have little buckets of them. Little buckets, they're little, I'll use the proper word. They are cupcake holders. They're silicone cupcake holders. I thought I was going to make soap cupcakes for a long time, and then so I have a bunch of those, and I repurposed them because that's not my cup of tea. I think they're fantastic, and I love looking at them, but I tried making them. I'm not that, I don't know. I think we could get skilled at a lot of stuff, but I'm just not that curious or attracted to doing that. Like, you know, you have to have lots of ideas about a topic in order to pursue it, I think, a bit. At least I do. So I think about soap dough all the time. I was watching a nature channel yesterday, and I love watching just nature things, and I got, well, I was exposed to new birds I didn't know about. I was exposed to monkeys and their behavior. I was exposed to, well, there's this bird called a bee eater, and it's green, it has a pokey beak, and it's really sharp, long, thin, like a needle beak, kind of like a hummingbird beak, but bigger. And they're green and iridescent and blue, and I guess they come in a lot of different colors, but they eat bees, which they're excellent bee killers, which I find interesting in and of itself. And they take the bee and then they bang it on something to kill it, which I find also interesting. But I imagine a bee would taste sweet, possibly. Okay, so we let these set for a minute, because now you can start to see even just that little bit. So I just made them. I didn't stop the video or do anything different. I just made them while I was sitting here talking to you, and see how they're starting to get a little bit harder, and now they're going to be shiny, and if I rub my finger on them, they start to get even shinier. And they're also very soft. That's a nice thing about soap dough. It does that sometimes. So we'll do this. I kind of made him have a flat face right here so I can stick his eyes on. So let's see. What do you think? His eyes should be this way, or they should be this way? I think this way. We'll try this way first. That's one I've made before, so let's try that. Okay. And no worries about the little bit of white cornstarch on there. That's going to come away as soon as I put water on it. There. I think he has a nice little character. I could even curl his hat in a little bit more. Okay, so we'll leave him. Okay, try not to touch him. While I have black, I can see there's black right there and right there. Okay, so then let's do this one, which has a little pokier head. Okay, should we do upside down eyes? We'll do upside down eyes on him. Okay, and he's softer, so I can probably push him in a bit, push the eyes in a bit. There. I don't know where y'all live, but I'm going to tell you right now, in the Southwest, it is ridiculously hot. It is so crazy hot right now. So I like his eyes like that. Sort of leans towards the taperedness of this, of his head, makes his eyes look like stretched out a bit. So that's pretty cool. Okay, we'll leave him. Now we'll do this one. And we'll make him look stretched out too, but we'll put his eyes upside down. Well, upside down compared to what we've been doing. A little bit fiddly. Okay. Oh. The hardest thing about soap dough is not to lose patience with yourself. I promise. They're throwing some soap dough on my desktop. I have a video of me doing it. I was embarrassed after I saw it. It's the one where I made the spiders, and I was like, threw a little piece of soap dough. Okay. That's okay. I think they would look better upside down. So I can't let that go. I'm gonna turn them upside down and see. Because we don't ever want them to look too scary for, yeah, see, I think they look better upside down. So there's that guy, and then this guy. We can do those eyes, but I think it'd be better if we do little tiny balls of soap dough in this one. So let me get that tool. That might be too big. This size here. So if you're looking for this tool, it probably won't find it in any clay stuff. It's for fingernails, and what they do is they take paint and they dip it in paint and then they put that on top of your fingernail. So these are nail tools as far as I know, but I saw them and I thought, oh, that could be a useful tool. And I didn't even really know what I was going to use it for. I just thought, oh, and they're super reasonable too. They're not super expensive. Well, I should qualify that. I didn't know what super expensive is. You know, when I say we're not super expensive, they're like a couple dollars. Because I forgot that my audience today was Sophia, and I remember when I got an allowance, and a couple dollars could mean a lot, and so not to diminish that, because that's very valuable. And a couple dollars is a lot when you don't have it. So there's a little tiny eye. And I've mentioned this before, but I think it bears repeating. Sometimes I'll sit and make these little tiny eyes, especially if I just want to keep moving forward with soap. I'm like, oh, I could use some eyes, so I'll sit and roll little balls of soap dough so that, here, I'll show you, so that I have a couple little pieces, like if I need an odd piece or something, and I have this. And then if I don't use them for a while and they start to get like too much stuff on them like this, then I just throw it all out because they're just little pieces and I can't really wash my hands with them. So anyway, there you go. So now let's see if we can get these in those little eye sockets. There. There. So, and I think he looks all right. That looks all right to me. Give him a little spray of alcohol, breaks those little bubbles up. So here's another thought too, and I'll put a picture in, like right here, magic. Of these gingerbread samples I made. I just don't have one right now, and I don't want to run and get one, but the little gingerbread samples, picture, you can use this to poke a hole, let your soap dry, and then later go pack it with color, like I put white little eyes in, or I'll pack it with black, and then you have the exact shape of the end of this or the end of this. Versus this, I have to roll them and drop them in, so then they could be a little sideways or a little wonky. They're not as precise. So there you go. There's how to make some ghosts for your Halloween soaps, if you make them, or if you just like me, like spooky things all year long. And thank you, Jennifer and Sophia, for watching my channel. I really, really appreciate it. And more than anything, I just appreciate that you're learning something new and that I happen to be a part of that. So thanks. Have a great day.